everybody, welcome to another video. This is another contest entry that I need to go ahead and get out there before I lose it with some of the other videos I'm trying to make. This is a contest for my good friend, actually really the first guy that I met, well, face to face in the vinyl community. That's Glen Kellaway from the basement, my great partner in many videos. We've had a series that is currently on hold called the Sam and Glen Show on his channel, where we just talk about a topic. We've talked about Bob Dylan. We've ranked our 80 favorite songs. We've done the Monkees, John Prine with Rich Strickler. We've done live streams with Larry Graves, the Canadian Stud Muffin, and we've been on all sorts of videos together, and we email back and forth all the time. Just, if we see something that the other one might like, in the music world, we'll send each other an email, and we're hoping to see each other sometime soon down the road. I know he's currently in Florida, so maybe we'll get a chance to meet up on his way back home to Canada. Glen is approaching 1,000 subscribers. I haven't looked, but I don't think he's hit it quite yet, but he's getting there, and he's trying to push to get there. So he's put out a contest where he just wants us to show 3 progressive rock albums. Now, I have stated in the live streams that we do that I'm not really a prog rock fan, so therefore I don't really own any prog rock albums. The closest prog that I probably own is either Pink Floyd or that might be about it, really. Just some Pink Floyd, and I don't own a lot. I own like 4 albums by Pink Floyd, so that's another series. So what I thought I would do is I want to show 3 albums where a band or an artist began a progression into another layer in their musicality. And I didn't really go deep into my catalog. I picked like 3 of my favorite artists ever. So with that being said, Glenn, hope this works for you. The first album I'm going to show is Help by the Beatles. Now, you may be thinking, that this album wasn't a progressive album for the Beatles. What are you talking about? A lot of people consider Rubber Soul, the following album, to be their turning point from a pop group, to a maturing band that was focused on introspection and, thematic elements in their music. Now, that's true. Rubber Soul was their first truly album for an album's sake. They really started progressing. Some people can make an argument they made a move in progression on Hard Day's Night, because that was the first album that were all originals. Help, though it's not an album of all originals, goes to a deeper level with the songwriting abilities of Lennon, McCartney, and Harrison. Of course, you have like a standard Beatles pop song like Help, and a song like Ticket to Ride. However, you have songs by George like where to go? What did I forget? And I Need You. Different in terms of style, kind of moving into like that jangle pop that was so popular in the mid-60s. And then you have a song like You Gotta Hide Your Love Away, which is like John doing kind of like a Dylan-esque acoustic kind of ballad. But the song that I think really started pushing the Beatles into their new era was the song Yesterday. And, it's overplayed. It's, Paul McCartney's most famous song, I would say. It's been covered by everybody. It's the most covered song ever written. But the thing that makes it so progressive is that it is, it's just one Beatle on the track. It's only Paul, with the stringed instruments that were produced by George Martin. And that in itself was showing, first of all, that Paul and John didn't need to fully be together to create magic. I mean, it's a Lennon-McCartney credit, but it's a McCartney masterpiece. And it mixes elements of classical, of pop, of maybe even theater, just a beautiful ballad. So I think this is the beginning of the Beatles progressing into, the greatest band ever. Next, Bob Dylan. Now, some of y'all might think, oh, he's going to show Highway 61 Revisited. That's when Bob Dylan went fully electric. Or maybe even showing, Slow Train Coming. That's when Bob went, Christian with his born again phase. Well, no, I'm going to show one of Bob's earliest, his fourth album, Another Side of Bob Dylan. Now, this came out after the Times They Are Changing album, and this album got a lot of criticism because of it not being as political as songs from Freewheelin' Bob Dylan or of Times They Are Changing. You have stuff like Chimes of Freedom. I mean, that's obviously a big political song, but you have Dylan becoming more stream of consciousness with his writing, which really kind of defined him in the mid-60s with albums like Highway 61 or Blonde on Blonde. Because you have songs on here like My Back Pages, It Ain't Me, I Don't Believe You. Really songs that, could have been pop songs had they been sung by somebody with a more traditional voice. I mean, even the song My Back Pages in itself is kind of Dylan saying, I'm not this force of a generation. I'm not this folk hero. I just want to write good songs. So I consider this a very progressive album for Bob Dylan. He was moving away from, the god that the public was making him out to be. So this is my number 2 album, Glen. And number 3 is Glen's favorite Van Morrison album. So I thought I'd throw this in there. It's Astral Weeks. Now, before Astral Weeks, Van Morrison was part of the British garage blues band called Them. They had songs like Here Comes the Night, Gloria, Mystic Eyes. Killer band. I mean, really crunchy, heavy guitar stuff. It's right in line with groups like the Animals or the Dave Clark Five. So then, once Van broke away from Them, he had the album Blowin' Your Mind, which had the song Brown Eyed Girl on it. And that album was okay. Nothing great. The song TV Sheets on it was really good. But it was obviously, Brown Eyed Girl was a single. It was written as a single. And then after that, so again, picture this. You have this young guy, comes out of this British Invasion garage group. He moves into the album Blowin' Your Mind and sings the song Brown Eyed Girl, which we all know and are probably tired of hearing on the radio. And then he goes into this stream of consciousness, freeform jazz folk album called Astral Weeks. And you have songs like Cypress Avenue, Sweet Thing, Beside You, Madame George, The Way Young Lovers Do, which is just a great jazz song. And it really shows Van's voice as an instrument. And this album, I'm sure Van is still, not that Van's ever cared what people think. I mean, we all know that now. But I think probably somewhere in his mind, he knows he's always kind of been chasing this album. And unfortunately for him, though, I would like to guess otherwise, but in the grand scheme of things, this was his masterpiece, and it was only his second album. So everything since then, I mean, even albums right up to like 3 Chords and the Truth, people are comparing like, oh, that song sounds like Astral Weeks. And this song sounds like Astral Weeks. And here he is in this young guy, Irishman, early 20s, and now he's, creeping on, being 80, and he's still chasing Astral Weeks. So that says a lot about this album. It says a lot about where it put Van Morrison, ahead of a lot of his peers from the British Invasion. And I think it's a very progressive album for Van. So there you go, Glenn. Probably went longer than I wanted to. So again, thank y'all for watching. Please go over to Glenn's channel. I'll post a link to his contest video below. Subscribe to him. Subscribe to this channel as well. and I will talk to y'all very soon. So y'all take care.